scrunchies. This is what we're going to be making today. Alright, now we've got our separate pieces. I did these the other day. We've got our separate pieces, our little bows, and we can coordinate them with other scrunchies. I should probably get these up in my Etsy shop at some point and do mix and matches. Like those two look quite nice together, don't they? And then you could take the bows off of one, put them on the other, and you know, mix them up a bit. So we're going to learn how to make those today. Now you've got to have a 21 inches by 4.5 inches of fabric. All right, any fabric should do. I'm using cotton fabric with a pattern design. There we go, like that. And iron it, fold it in half, and give it a press. All right, so that's ready. Now I've cut these. I've pre-cut these as well. I have a template. Okay, now I've cut into this template. What I did was I folded a piece of card in half, and then I did that sort of shape. All right, so if you do that sort of shape, you can't go wrong. All right, and then cut it around so that it's equal on both parts. All right, you can actually fold it that way as well. What I actually did was I got a piece of paper and I folded it in half that way and cut it, and I folded it in half that way, and then I cut it again just to make sure that everything was equal, if that makes sense. All right, hence I ended up with that. Now I use that to cut around my fabric. It's not the best things. I would have preferred some harder, you know, thicker card, but I haven't got any, and then I end up with this. All right, now you cut two pieces, okay, from the template. So you've got two there. All right, and we're going to put them together, right sides together, and then we're going to sew along the edge. All right, leaving, what you can do is leave a gap. Just pop some pins in any side, either that side or that side, along the straight. That one's bent, and pop some pins in so it reminds you where to stop, because we want a gap to turn it. All right, let's put that over there. Doesn't have to be a massive gap, as long as there's enough there to turn it. All right, so there we go. All right, you can see that. Now I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Further there. I'm going to stop it. No, I'm going to go a bit further. Right, stop it there. Okay, now we're going to cut that. Alright, so that's that done, and now I'm going to turn it inside out. Well, not inside out, the right way. Okay. And then I have this little tool in here, this here, to smooth the edges out a bit. But be careful not to poke it through, right through to the stitches. Also helps the seam lie flat. You can sort of like guide it. Okay, leave that a minute. Can use that end as well to smooth it out. And there, a little bit up there. Okay, so then you end up with that. All right, now we're gonna close those edges in a little bit like so to seal seam, and then you can give it a press now before you do that bit to help, you know, to help it a bit. And I'm going to go over and I'm going to give it a press. Okay, now that's all pressed, and now I'm going to go around the edge. You can seal that bit with hand stitching if you want to, or you can finish it off with a nice stitching all the way around. I like the way it looks with the stitching all the way around. So I'm going to start about here, and you can give it a seam allowance. You don't have to give it a 1/4 inch, it can be less or 1/4 an inch, it doesn't really matter. Just try to be as neat as possible here, because this is the bit you're going to see. Want to cut those threads off, and there we go. You end up with a nice piece like that. Okay, and we're going to go on to the next stage now. So next you're going to need your long piece of fabric, 21 inches by 4.5 inches. All right, and you're going to fold it in half and press it. Then we're going to get your elastic, which is 7.5 inches, and we're going to open this back up again. Wrong way around, okay, and we're going to pin it here. All right, we're going to pin it slightly off center. This is how I do it anyway, right towards the end. Okay, just give it a pin in there, just lower down, because we're going to sew it at the top there. Okay, there. Okay, so now should be far enough down. Let me just check. Yeah. Now we're going to go backwards and forwards to secure that piece of elastic. All right, so here we go. Backwards, forwards, backwards, back again, and we'll do one more for good luck. There, okay. And I'm going to snip that. I could do it with my little scissors actually, it'd be easier. So then we're going to snip those threads off there. Alright, take that pin out and just snip those ones off there, and we have our elastic in there secure. Now I'm going to add a pin, safety pin. Alright, so okay, here we have a safety pin. Alright, and I'm going to put that at the end here. Alright, so that helps me to pull the elastic through. Okay, so that's there. Alright, then we're going to lay the piece of fabric down, alright, and on the other end we're going to fold that in slightly, about 1/2 inch, okay. So you can finger press that, or you can press it with an iron. I'm going to go and quickly press it. Okay, so I've pressed it now, alright, and then I'm going to fold it back again. Okay, so we're left with this like so. Alright, so we're left with that like that. Now we're going to sew it from the side where the pin is all the way down that other seam to the end there, okay, at about 1/4 inch seam allowance. We're going to go forward first and go back and forward again. Right, snip that off. Okay, to pull this inside out. Now we're going to pull this inside out. Now I have one of these tools here. We have it pulled inside out now. Alright, we have our safety pin there. Now I'm going to go and give this a press. Alright, this end here, which has already been folded, make sure that's nice and neat, and just flatten it out so the seams are nice and flat and straight, and give it an iron. You don't have to iron it or press it now, but I like to. Okay, so there we have our main scrunchie bit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get the safety pin here, and we are going to pass it all the way through, thread it through to the other side. I like to try not to twist the fabric as well, keep it, you know, the right way, because sometimes it can twist around and then it looks a bit, I don't like it. It looks nicer when it's kept straight. Okay, so we've threaded that through now. I'm going to keep hold of that while I just tidy this end up a minute, because this is the side we didn't fold in. What we're going to do is we're going to sew. I'm going to take this safety pin off here carefully, because we don't want our elastic to get lost in there, and then we're going to get our other side of elastic and we're going to sew it to the other side, the opposite side. Alright, to where the elastic is in there, if you know what I mean. We're going to sew it onto that side. Okay, this is quite fiddly, this bit, so you may want to just tie your elastic, but I don't know how well that lasts, whether it will come undone or not. Do that a couple of times. Well, we're going to do it about 4 times. Okay, take that out. Snip those bits off, and then we're left with this. Okay, now we're going to pass that end through that side, and we're going to tidy it up a bit. Okay, and then we're going to sew along here, along there. Alright, now that's going to be, you won't see that once you get your, once it's in your hair, or if you want to use the added bow that we've made. Just want to make sure that that's straight. It's not. I want to make sure that's the right way around. There we go. There. Okay, so here we go. Right, pop that over there. Hope you can see all right. And we're left with, pop that in there, tuck that in. Like I say, and we're going to sew along there. Back. Again. Okay. Okay. There we go. And that's what you're left with. Alright, now once you move that along, you can use as much or as little fabric as you like. Alright, now I quite like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach the thing that we made. Okay, let's get rid of that cotton. So here we have our other piece, and we're going to wrap it around where the seam is that we've just sewn. Alright, and choose the best side for your bow as well, and we're going to tie it here. There. And there we have it. One scrunchie bow. Scrunchie with bow. Detachable bow with a detachable bow. There we go. I think they look pretty good. And we have that one now, and like I say, we've got a mixture. See, those two look quite nice together, don't they? Yeah, look at that, because that picks out, well, it's not quite the same blue, but there we go. What do you think? One scrunchie that you've seen me make, and I think that looks pretty neat. You can use, like I say, as much or as little fabric as you want, depending on sizes and stuff. This probably wouldn't be any good for a very young child, but yeah, so I love it. I love them. This is my new thing now, amongst many other things. So I'm going to hopefully get some of these up in my Etsy shop. So thank you for watching, and I'm going to go. Bye-bye. Bye. Have finished making some lovely scrunchies. I think they look pretty effective, don't they? So we've got those two, which will go in a set, and we have these three, which will probably go into a set, or we could have those in a set like that, or we could have those in a set and you can mix and match them to please. So I think that looks pretty cute. I love them. Lovely.